Maybe sniffling more often or feeling congested these days.
That's because 2023 is shaping up to be the worst allergy season on record. In tonight's Health Alert, Emily Riley tells us why allergy seasons seem to be getting more severe.
You may be one of the many people struggling with itchy eyes, nasal congestion, or a runny nose these days. According to the Kagan Allergy Clinic, this year's allergy season could become the worst on record. Dr. Bradley Locke, an allergist at Prevea Health, highlights a pattern that began 3 decades ago.
Over the last 15-20 years, we have seen a gradual increase in the amount of pollens every year, and pollen seasons also seem to be happening a lot earlier.
Data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture shows this year's pollen season has over 20% more pollen than in 1990. Dr. Locke says research shows global warming is likely responsible for this phenomenon.
So that kind of stagnant air mass has just been kind of hanging, over our region, and then with all that sunlight and heat, that's just able to produce those elevated ozone concentrations.
Those in Wisconsin experiencing allergy symptoms these days aren't alone. Dr. Locke says the problem's happening worldwide.
We have a lot of great options for treatment that are out there, so we advise people to start with the over-the-counter medications, whether those be oral or nasal antihistamines. There's multiple different types of nasal sprays out there, especially nasal steroid sprays. You can also use some different allergy eye drops that are out there if you get the itchy, watery eye symptoms.
And taking preventative measures like not bringing the outside inside. For those dealing with allergies, medical experts suggest keeping your doors and windows closed and avoiding outdoor activity, especially in the morning when pollen counts the highest. Reporting in Green Bay, Emily Riley, Action 2 News.
You can find the Allergy Tracker on our website, wbay.com/allergy, which is updated weekdays with data from Kagan Allergy Clinic.